Hi everybody, thank you for coming and joining me. This is using my little collection in the studio with It's the Little Things. Now we had the USB and the dies on air, and some of it is a little bit of inspiration, but it's one of the things that I really wanted to show you, but when we're on air we can't really focus on anything, and I'm going to actually make the journal cover and show you how to make that journal that I showed you on air, and probably put a little bit of pages in there. We'll see how we get on in the hour. I've already done quite a bit to put it together to start the process, but just a little recap of what we actually got with the collection was: we got our tag, if you remember, well, you will have got this. We've got our extra edges, we've got our little torn pieces as well, and our stitching, and that fabulous little tape. We've also got the extra elements, such as the clips, and we've got the florals, the little bits of tape, the buttons. Some of my favourites are the paper clips and the little safety clips. And then this is what the actual reflections look like. So it was printed out like this. You get so many on a sheet, and then these are the coloured reflections. But if you remember, we gave you 10 of each one. So we gave you 10 of the reflections of in 10 different colourways. Then we also gave you, 10 different ones that are the textures that we called our textures. So we give you 10 different colourways again in all of those, with 10 different textures. So the crinkled paper is in 10 colourways, and again, as you go through all of these, and as we go through, you can see we've got the music paper, etc. And then we also gave you all the positive affirmations as well, which on this one I've actually printed out on a sticker sheet that you can actually create your stickers with, and I've got lots of other things with me. Then we also gave you the templates of actually making the cards, and then finally we have the 10 different colourways of the actual collection. Okay, so there was an awful lot on that USB, and it was just a little die collection, so there was a real, it was a lot for your money. Very versatile collection. So I'm going to pop them out the way and bring in what I'm going to show you how I created. So this is the little book. Now when you look at the dies and you see that it's just a tiny little collection, when you're looking at that it's just this one piece and all of these elements are nested inside, I was able to take all of this and create an actual journal. Okay, so to create the cover, I've just cut the long strip several times and built up the pieces. I'll take you through step by step, but this is just a quick overview. Then inside, the only thing I used was a pair of scissors and a guillotine to cut all the other pieces. So then I've used the packing papers, all those lovely rice paper effects. I've created pockets in here, and I've popped extra little bits and pieces on there. So on this one, I've put, you can, you should, and if you're brave enough to start, you will. That was a quote from Stephen King. Then we've got a pocket here. So on all of these, I've actually tried to finish all of these things. Okay, so I've done all of these little pieces. Then I've done another page on this side. Then I did some little books, an accomplished to-do list that was in that pocket. This one I've just added some extra little piece. It just leftovers really was that one. So that was another page. Then that was what Stephanie did me some painting. Then I've created like a journal effect page. And then also on the website for this particular collection, you can now get all the like the sticker sheets that create these ribbons. So all of these I've printed onto our sticker sheets, our A4 sticker sheets, and just cut them all out. So wherever you see a ribbon like this, that's what all of they are, and they are actually on the website now. Then I went on, created more pockets, and then I created a little stitched book with some backing, and a lot of this were just little scraps and leftovers. Again, that's why I love doing this kind of book and journal. So we'll keep going, bit more. I've got a page there to finish off. So we get round to that. I will definitely finish that off with you. I've got another little pocket, but here again, you can see that sticker where I've used it. Again, I've used it on here because I've created a tab, and they're just really versatile. And again, on this one, I've mat and layered them together. So this is the actual foundation of what we're going to create. We're going to create this journal, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. So now if I bring all of these pieces in, this is what we've got to play with. So what I've gone ahead and already done for you is each one of these, that's upside down, I've got a piece of our lovely faux leather, and then each one of these pieces I've cut 4 times, okay? And then all I've done is glued them all together. So just, it's really quick. And I'm using the Pinflair All Stick because it is a fabulous glue for something like this. You want that durability when you're using and creating a journal that's going to be manhandled a lot. You're going to be opening and closing it and using it a significant amount. Especially when if you don't finish your pages, you're going to go back to it and create more. So that is what I've done with those. I've cut 4, and these are 2 4250 GSM cardstock that I've used for this. Okay, so that is that one. I've already glued down these 2. That is my spine. And what I did with my spine, I've literally just cut off 2 centimetres. So I cut another one of these and cut away 2 centimetres off that edge. So I've got the same width for my spine, which works. So I haven't got no measuring to do. And then I just cut off 2 centimetres at this edge. And here I've left a little bit more of a gap, okay? Because what we're going to create is this faux in the middle, this line, as if, so we're creating more of it, giving it a little bit more detail, let's say. Now, I can now glue this one down. So this is going in place. And again, this is where you can use your offcuts. And I know, a little top tip for you, our faux leather at the moment on our website, we have actually got, I believe, some fat quarters and some fat thins. Some quarter thins, fat thins, fat quarters, fat thins. I think I'm using the right words there. So they're just the right size to be able to make your books with. So your book covers. So now I've got all my 4 panels and my spine in place. But to be able to do the detail to create this, I need something solid on the inside, which is flush here, for me then to be able to glue this down and push it into to give me that edge. So I'm happy with how that is. So then I've gone ahead and cut myself 2 inward pieces. But first of all, we need to stick the actual faux leather in, because then we're going to neaten it all up by sticking these pieces in. And it's super easy. Now, let me get my big scissors. So I've left roughly about 1 inch on these edges. You don't want to skimp and not have enough to be able to fold over, because then you will be tugging and pulling on it, okay? With the thinner, if you're using cottons and things, you don't have to use, you know, you could manage 1/2 inch or so. But when it's the thicker stuff like the faux leather, I would definitely leave yourself a good inch. And then I am not cutting right up to that corner. I'm leaving myself because I can then tuck it over, okay? So that's quite important. Don't chop all the way up to that corner. So I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. And as you can see, without those bits in, it's quite flexible. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and make something that was like that would be fabulous, to have something that concertinaed like so. But then that's a different style of book, of journal. So again, I'm leaving myself some on that point. This here is a little bit too long. So I'm going to snip some of this away. Oops. Like so. because I don't want it lots of bulk, but I don't also want to be too skimpy that it's going to hinder me when I fold it over, like so. And then take a little bit more off this. So I've roughly got about 1 inch all the way around-ish. I'm not measuring it. I don't, you know, I'm just going to go by eye. Now we have the foundations of what the book looks like. We can now glue all these edges in. So I'm going to go back to my all stick again because it's really strong glue. And while ever I'm using something like this, it's also adding to the stability and how sturdy the journal is going to be for you. Now, popping plenty of that on there, rubbing it in because I want it to go into that little bit of fabric on that side. And I know I've got time with this, so I'm actually going to go all the way around and add my glue in one go. So you're not just sat watching somebody put glue on everything. And it is a fabulous glue, so if you can get this, I would definitely put this in your shopping basket. So when I've done this and I've got this drying, I'll just go through the rest of the little bits and pieces that you can get that go with this. So you know those little sticker sheets that I was telling you about, because they are super cute. They finish off your pages beautifully. And you can print them on pretty much anything. So I know we're saying you can print them on the sticker sheets, which would be fabulous, of course. But also think about printing them onto your washi tapes, not washi tapes, your rice papers, and then using them just as rice paper ribbon. So right, I've got all that down there on that, and I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to fold that in, and I'm going to pull on it and pull it inwards like so. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to take my bone folder and fold it in and just hold it down for a second till it takes. But on those edges, I'll show you what I mean by not cutting the corners off. Okay, hold that in place for a second. And what you then do is just slide that corner in, okay? So you literally come from the edge and just go around the corner, and it folds that edge in and makes a really nice, neat corner for you. Okay, and then bring that in. So let me show you. Fold that in and pull that over, and it makes a beautiful, neat corner. And again, pull that in. Just going to hold it in place a second till it takes. Doesn't take very long to stick, but it neatens up that edge. Okay, I'm just going to keep making sure as I go around that everything's nicely stuck, like so. I know we've got a bit of a wibbly wobbly line here, but that's just me that I've not cut it straight. And again, on this corner, I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to bring that corner in. Okay, so then by bringing that corner in, when I then fold it, as I'm folding it, fold that corner in like so. And then I'm not going to get like the card. I can't see the white of the card. And again, just bring that in on that edge. So because some of this glue is now drying, it should speed it up a little bit. I'll not have to hold it quite so long. Just make sure I've got that. Just keep going round until the glue has grabbed. And obviously we're working with quite a thick, heavy-duty material here because it's the faux leather. So I want to give it the chance to grab. So spin that round again. And again, if you watch, I'm tucking that corner in as I'm folding that over. And it stops me seeing the white of that corner. And then all this will be lovely and neat and tidy because then we're going to add inside covers to all of this. So I've cut myself some white cardstock. You can do this out of anything, so you could use it out of your backing papers or your textures, but I've done it just for quickness because I wanted to share with you how I have actually put the book together. And again, I'm just going to tuck that in like so. I'm going to hold that in place like that. Just going to go all the way around again, making sure that I've got all of those edges, and on my corners I'm securing all that down. Okay, I'm quite happy with all of that. So there we have the basis of what you're going to start off with. That would be your actual journal cover, okay? And this faux leather paints beautifully with the Cadence as well. So if you wanted to go ahead and do something like that, it is another fabulous way of also using it. So I've got another one somewhere. That is going in the middle. They're my spine, so I'll explain the spine shortly. So now what we're going to do is create our inside cover. So we're going to go with that in the middle, and then I've already gone ahead and cut myself 2 pieces on the outside edges, okay? And these overlap, and I've overlapped them slightly to add that extra stability again, okay? And then to finish it off and make it neat, the spine is going to go back in the middle. So that's where we're going to start off first. But when we do this, we're going to flip it over. First of all, I want some in the middle. I want some glue down that middle, like so, because we're going to push that, because we've created this depth, we're going to push that into the actual project. Okay, so again, just glue around here. It's mainly the pieces, it's on the edges, and it's these pieces down the centre that I'm really wanting that glue to be. So right, pop that on there, up to the edge. I've made it just a tiny little bit smaller than what it needed to be. So that is on there. Now I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So I'm adding glue on that inside there, and then again on the inside here. You would clearly take a lot more time over doing this at home. And then pop the glue on this one. And then we're going to flip this over because we want to create that ridge so it looks like it's an old book. And we do that from the other side because we're going to push that leather into that ridge, which will then highlight that little bit of detail. So I'm happy with the positioning of my pages, or the inside of what we're working with, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over. Now this is, take your time again with this. I'm going to pop this in like so. We need to allow the time for it to actually take. So if I just, can you see what we're actually managing to do here is that we're sticking it down and creating this actual faux ridge. So it's giving us a bit of a, almost like a patterning. So I'm going to pop that like that and leave that to settle a second. Now move on to this piece. So it's just a case now of keep working with the leather and allowing it to catch and set onto the page on the inside. Can you see how it's working? If I lift that up, can you see? There you are, can you see? There. So you can see those lines that I'm creating. So that is then going to make these pieces, okay? So all will become clear. And then we're going to put the spine in that we can attach the actual pages to. And I think the faux leather just works hand in hand with something like this. It just creates a beautiful book But the idea is behind it, obviously, we're just using the little things. So it's just our little dies, and we're creating something quite substantial just from those little elongated dies that all fit through that baby blue. So keep going with this. You see, I think they're coming through quite well now. They are my side. What I'm going to do is I'll just, that's better. Can really see these now. Just allowing, it's what it is, it's allowing that glue to take. Oh, you can really see them now. Just literally adding a little bit of pressure with a bone folder within that gap, like so. And that is really as easy as it gets. Now, another way of being able to do this, to create your journal itself, is to create your little strips and bind them all separately. So cover them in the leather all separate, and then maybe create your leather actual page, your journal itself, out of maybe the backing papers. So you've got a pattern in between that you can see. That would be a different way of actually creating the journal. So let's just finish this off, and then I can flip this over and show you while that's setting. Okay, just like so. So now I'm going to bend on those two pieces. That's one side, and that's the other side. So now that has created my spine in the middle. Okay, couldn't be any easier. It's really and it's so effective. You can really see those ridges now. Look at that. So just keep actually adding the pressure and allow that glue to catch, and it is wonderful. But because I haven't bent those two pieces and I've only done the spine, that's what's going to create a lovely book. So then after that, I want to reinforce the spine. So that's where we're going to go next. And this is just the strip die. So the same strip die that I made all of the pieces with, I've just cut it once. Okay, so then that's going to overlap on that join on the spine where we're going to fold on that crease. Okay, so we'll just do this. And then I'm going to set this to one side to dry properly. Pop that on there, like so. Use my bone folder to get that in situ properly. And the other thing about this all stick is if it does seep out anywhere, just rubs off while it's wet. It's phenomenal glue. So pop that down like that and allow that to set. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and then I'll show you the stickers and the spine. So I'm going to leave that to set over there. Now here are a few of the other things that I've printed onto. So I've printed onto rice paper because you could be making what do you call them? Canvases and things like that. I've printed onto our normal card. I've printed onto just normal paper, but also when you print onto, this is just wonderful, isn't it? When you print onto our printable acetate, look what you get. So you're actually going to get a transparent page, which I think is just gorgeous. Look at that. Doesn't it come up beautifully? So imagine that you've got some transparent pages within your journal as well, which is just going to be wonderful. Then we have here, I love these. Now, as you can see, mine are much loved. I've got all of them here. If I open this up, pull all these pieces out, these are actually on the website for you to download and use. And these are all sheets. And we've done them with the backing textures behind, so you're not wasting anything, okay? You literally cut it out, and all the pieces in between you're still going to use. So these are all beautiful ribbons, again, in all the different colourways that have been cut down and made into ribbons for us to be able to use. So with things like this, this is where I've added it on here. I've put the tape on here as well. I've used it on these pieces. It's here. Then across here, I've used it loads of times on this little piece as well. I've just torn that. I've literally just torn it on the edges and stuck it on as a little bit of something. Then I've folded it over and created my tab as well. So I just love all of this. Here we have, that's the one that I've not quite finished. And that was a little piece that I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? So I've stuck it on as a little T, but I'm going to cover this up so you're not even going to see that that is missing. So these are just wonderful additions to the collection, and you're getting so many of them. So you're getting lots of different variations. So they are just the rice paper background patterns, and then you're getting the ones again in different colorways. Then you're going to get the buttons. They're a lot of fun. They're one of my favorites. There you have the little ribbons with our paper clips and little safety pins on. And then we go back to the ones that have got the tape and the clips on, the bulldog clips and things. So they are just a super little addition to finish off any of this. So again, I'm going to bring these in because I just want to share with you. Maybe you didn't see all of what we made. So when you look at all of these, they are just delightful. So look how I've snipped into the actual little paper clips. Used the tape to tape down my sentiment, added in some of my own ribbon, used that lovely hessian. The hessian is one of my favourite things to use. And even though you get the reflections of the flowers, I've still used the flowers and the leaves, and what I've done is I've cut that out of the actual texture paper, which is just fabulous. So I've done lots of different things with all of these. And they're all just super sweet, aren't they? So it is a little bit special, and they are all only little ones. And then when I've cut out my tag, I've not wasted it. I've then put it back in. So I've used a different colourway from another one that I made. So there's no waste. I've done a little aperture card. Then there's a card here that I've put together that I've cut into those backing papers. So I've snipped into it and taken those tickets out, cut onto this, and then I have actually cut corrugated card. So I've saved my boxes. I'm doing a little bit of upcycling and recycling with these. They're just fabulous. Folding things back, making little books. Look how tiny this is. Now this is super cute. So that is one that is an actual card, just made out of the tags. But look how many elements I've managed to get onto the little tag to create something a little bit special. Then we have one, again, using the tags, creating all the inside. When we do something like this, this is probably one of my favourite card shapes to actually do, because I get more space to decorate, and then the tag itself has got a hidden message underneath. So I've got lots of sides, lots of pieces to decorate. Then another one. I've just put so many elements on here because there's so much to play with. Using your actual twines and things that go with this, because it's quite rustic. And then as we keep going through, one of my favourites is making, and you get the templates for these. It's the actual little easel card. I just love these. It was such a pleasure to make all of these little elements because they go so far. Even just something that isn't even a small card, I've gone on to something quite big. All my little tags, I've used a little bit of my own MDF, just pop that in. I've put glassy accents on my buttons as well. So remember, all those other things that you've actually got, you can then use. And then I went on to make a little gift bag. And again, using some extra ribbon. But look how big your creation you can actually go to, and then down to the actual journal. But then Diane made me this, and how fabulous is this? So this is a note to self. Enjoy the journey. It's just as important as the destination. And I wanted to put on here something, I wanted the positivity to come through. So believe in yourself, because why wouldn't you? Exactly, why wouldn't you? Be proud of yourself and all that you've accomplished, because I think we're really good at telling ourselves that we've done something wrong and finding the negativity in what we do. You know, we make, as crafters, we make something and then we go, you hand it over and you say, yeah, but I went a bit wrong on this bit. We point out our flaws straight away, don't we? Well, in this, I didn't want us to have to do that. This is all about the positivity. So celebrate every win, no matter how small. And then you spend most of your life inside your head. Make it a nice place to be. So aren't they wonderful? So that was one of the important things to me, is to get that positivity out there, because I know we can beat ourselves up really easily, can't we? So now I'm going to bring back in the journal. There's my cover. You can see that it's stuck. I'm just going to go up and down one more time just because I can. Okay. That is all that. We've done the inside. Okay. So we've made that inside. I'm just going to fold on that one and then fold on that one. And that is our spine. So again, I've now reinforced that inside edge. Look at that. So now we've got a little journal. The spine couldn't be any easier. So what you're going to cut is 3 of those long rectangles. And then you're going to score. I've drawn on these so you can see really easily what we're doing. So you're going to score at 1 centimetre in on each one of these 2. You're going to cut off 1 centimetre each side of one of them with your guillotine or a pair of scissors. Just draw a line and cut it with a pair of scissors, and then score another centimetre. So you're going to have 2 that are the original size with 1 centimetre score on both pieces, and you're going to have a 3rd one that you've cut these tabs off. So where you've scored 1 centimetre, cut them off and then score again 1 centimetre in. Now, one of the things I do tend to do is I snip away. I neaten this up. So I cut that away, and that makes it a little bit easier for us to add a page. Okay. And again, so I'm going to do that on all of them. And then if you wanted to, I would actually do this probably in a different video, I must admit, is create a different spine. And then to add an extra page, you would cut these off again and just score down the middle. And then you would do a 3-hole bind in the middle. But that is something that I will show you another time. So you'll end up with more pages. Like so. So now, this one, I've put tape on 2 of those edges, okay? And I've folded them in. When we fold those 2 in, that is going to be the first base of my spine. And that is going to sit comfortably in there like that. And I do it like this because it creates a counterlever. If I was to stick it in like that way up, when you open and close, there's no movement in the spine and you end up breaking your pages. So to do it like this, and this isn't my idea, it's out there on the internet. Many people that make journals and do bookbinding, etc., also use this technique. So I'm going to lift that up because I can't quite see the white on white, so that is stuck to that edge. Take the other side off, like so. And pop that down on that, and that's the inside of my spine. So you can see you've got this little gap, and having that little gap creates movement, so when you open and close, and it also makes sure you can lay it flat. Then we're just going to glue these in. So these tabs are now going to be where we attach our pages. We'll use the different bookbinding glue on this one because we don't need the super duper. Okay, pop this on here. And it's a really quick, easy spine. So you can do this. It doesn't matter what size your spine is that you want to make, as long as you pick you score it at 1 centimetre on each side. And then the next spine that you put in. So I'll show you in a second. So that's my first one. They're my first 2 pages that it's actually going to stick to. So that's where my first pages are going to go, double-sided. So now if I lay that flat and lay that one in there, you can see that I've cut these off and I've now left with this. So I've now scored at 1 centimetre And we're going to do exactly the same thing again. But when you lay it flat, it's really easy to line it up, because you lay it flat, lay it against those tabs and line it up. It is such an easy spine to create. So now you can see where all those pages are going to go. So that there and that there. And then if you wanted to, the one in the middle would be an extra one. But that would be a stitched in one. But like I say, we'll do that as another quick spine to build at another time. So there are pages. And that is our journal book. So that is how I've then created the little journal. And how fabulous is that? Now we can do a little page. And again, this isn't, you know, it's just a case of just doing a bit of measuring. You don't even, if you don't want to, you don't even have to use a pair of scissors or cut it. Tearing is acceptable when you're making journal pages like this. So on this one, I'm going to lay that down there, like so. I'm going to just kind of measure where I'm wanting that to be. Make a fold like there. So this is where this becomes, I like to say that it's very organic, because you don't have to have everything precise and perfect when you're doing this kind of journaling. It doesn't have to be. So if I do that a few times, I don't even have to use my guillotine. And then it gives me that lovely pulled edge straight away. So now on this one, and I love doing things like this because this is then me using my scrap. Okay, no measuring, I'm just making a mark. Okay, again. Just tear that away. But now all the pieces that are here, these are now extra pages. So before I go any further, I'm going to make this page fit. But I want to go for the other end this time. I'm going to fold that over. Okay. Score it. Tear it. And now these are my little pieces that I'm going to stick in and do my extra layers, etc. with it. So this is now going on here. Okay, so I quite like that at where it is. So let's glue that in. A little bit of glue down there. So that's my first page. And I'm going to glue it in like so. Check it on this side as well, so it will still open and move. So that is that one. Close that. Then I'm going to add this piece in, but then we're going to create a lid on this side. So we've created a pocket, which is just wonderful. So now, on this piece, that is going on here. And again, where's my little bone folder? So I'm definitely glued that down. So there we have this little pocket going on. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of tucking in. So we can tuck things in there if we want to, but I want an extra flap on this side. So again, no measuring. I'm not measuring. I'm just choosing to score that piece there. I'm quite happy with where that is. And this is practically exactly how I made this actual journal. I didn't do any measuring. I literally just made a mark and did this. And if you're using rice papers, if you wet that edge, it'll tear away straight away. But it's given me that lovely ripped edge straight away. I know we tend to use scissors and rough an edge, but it's given me that roughed edge already. So I'm happy with where that is. And I want it to come to about here. So let's just fold it in half. Because by folding that in half, it's creating another page for me to put in somewhere else. So, and also on all of these, it says embrace life. You've got this. Believe in your sparkle. Why shouldn't we believe in our sparkle? How fabulous is that? So again, I've torn that. Now I'm going to create a little tab. So I'm going to put a little mark where that is. Fold it over. Hold it tight at that edge. Like so. Score that. And then I'm going to snip into, take the corners off. 1 and 2. Now this is going to be my little tab that then closes this. So I'm going to lift that up to make sure. Slide that up to there. So then that's my first one. So on this side, I've got a full page that I can do whatever I want with, but also here I can decorate the inside. So then I can add maybe this on the inside because that will fit really nicely. I might even put it there. No, I'm going to go that side because what I'm then going to do is I'm going to have a look at my sticker sheets. I'll fill that gap in with my sticker sheets. So that is now the cover of my journal. Then where are my sticker sheets? Let's have a look what we have. I'm going to go with this one. And I quite like pretty much most of that. So far, I haven't even used a guillotine. I pre-cut everything of my dies and everything else I've just torn and used a pair of scissors. Which to me is just phenomenal. So now this is going to go to this edge like so. So now that has finished that page off, flip that over. Just cut that away. But I'm not wasting that sticker. I'm going to stick that on my actual page. Like so. So, like there. So now I've created a little sticker tab as well that I can turn my page over with. And then I can decorate on the inside of here. I will add a little bit of glue, so that is then my pocket. But then I can decorate on the inside of this as well, so it doesn't have to stay bare. So remember all of your inks and things that you've got. So that's 2 pages. Even if you wanted to, this could then be a page. I know I've glued that down, but there's nothing stopping us turning that over like this. So then that folds in and that folds over the top. You would decorate here, on this one, on this side and on here with all those little bits and pieces that we've got that we like to build with. So now just continue on making your pages. It couldn't be any easier. It is just a phenomenal little thing to do to make the little journal. So all I'm going to do now is set that to one side to carry on drying. Bring in this one and we're going to finish this page. Now, we've already got some of the lilacs and things that we've got going on. But let's get all these other things. So I'm going to go, I've even got some faux leather here that matches. Okay, I'm going to go with those 3 maybe. Can you see all, you see as well, all these little packets and things that I've got, I've saved everything that I've cut. All of my words. I've got another one of those. I've got some purple words here. I'm having those because we've got purple that we're dealing with. Okay, let's pull that out. And then what shall we go with? I'm going to go with that. And see, I've even started and changed my mind. I've put foam on something, but I've kept it. Nothing has been wasted. So I've got all these little things that I've got going on. So I'm going to have that. I've got some pages, look, and some tags. So I've already got a tag cut. I'm going to pinch that tag. I want one of those. And I've also got a couple of pages where I've used that top, that little die that cuts into them. So I want maybe a couple of those. And this is how I've created all of these samples, is I've literally looked at what there is and I've just gone, oh, I quite like that. I need that piece. And I'm going to pinch that piece. And they've come out, so I'm going to use those two little, that's another piece. There's some offcuts. Let's go with that. And then I have a gold. Let's have that. Okay, happy with those. So again, all this is just bits that have been left over, and it now allows me to make all these fabulous pages. And it's just such joy to work with, to be able to then create something. Go with this one. So I'm changing my mind, I'm mixing everything up. So to start off with, I've decided to go with the purple, quite like that. And this one is going to go in behind. So now we're building like a junk journal page. I'm looking at what I've already got. I know where I started, that I want to cover up this edge. Okay, so let's do exactly that. It's such a stash buster and I'm not wasting anything. Okay, so that one is going to go there. I don't mind which way round any of the words are going or the writing, because it's so jumbled up. I like that. Then we've got those two pieces. Remember at the beginning when I did the journal pages in there, when I built them, this is now the offcuts. So we're absolutely going to use those. I've not, everything that I've just kept everything. I've got all these little packets that are just full. So now I'm offsetting that, but I don't want to cover my clip fully. And I must keep that in mind, that I don't want that to disappear. I do want this little bit of music. So I'm going to bring that in to overlap, but still keep the purple at that edge. I've got this edge that I really like, so I'm going to tuck that in. So before that sets, I'm just going to lift that up, slide that in like so. Then I've got the purple piece, and oh, it's double-sided. I didn't know I'd done that, double-sided. So now, yeah, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to tuck that in there. So can you see how we build it up? All that overlapping is now creating somewhere for the eye to focus on. Even though this goes that way, I'm not bothered about using it that way. It's not going to be a problem. I'm not going to let it worry me at all. I want that off the page. So I want some of that brown craft card in the background. I have got another piece. I'm going to go with the other side because I like that better. That is now going to slide in there, but not to cover all of that. So we're building all these layers. We're crisscrossing over with everything. Then remember, I've got these two little tag pieces. Yeah, I want to go there. That's where that is going. And then we have our lovely little pieces of jute. Now I'm bringing it in, I'm focusing it in. I'm going to bring it into the middle for us to have that. This one is going to go over the top. Again, adding those layers, crisscrossing everything, because I want that focus to come in onto this piece. So using my scissors, I'm going to snip into this lovely paper clip, like so, on both bits. That is going to go on here. Okay, so that is actually paper clipping into there. But first of all, I need tape on this. And that's another one of the reasons why, when you look at the hinge, I've got this lovely big gap, because if we're going to fill these pages and put all these elements on here, we need the space in between to be able to build on that. So again, if you look at this, I've got a really good gap in between each one, which is about 1 centimetre. So these that are in the middle, we're going to be able to decorate all the sides of these in the middle and fill them up, and then maybe do another little notebook like I showed you that I've done. It gives you the space to be able to add lots more within your journals. That's why I just love this spine. Okay, so take all that off of there. I'm not going to stick it down firm, I'm just going to place it in place, because now that's going to give me the opportunity of adding other elements in. So that's my rubbish. I need these. So I have now got win. I want that. So obviously within our sentiments and the stickers, so I want win, sparkle. So this is where we can actually choose how much we're cutting off these, that these are now individual little words. So I'm making my own, and I want brave. Like so. So they're my 3. That's one side. I've lost a little paper clip. So put my little paper clip here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to decorate this piece. So I'm now bringing in florals. So all I do really is I'll just need to make sure my sentiment stays there. Just tip them all out because it's far easier. Okay, so I've now got lots here to play with. So I'm now looking at what I've got. So I've got some florals. I want some flowers. I want a little bit of the tape, because the tape is fabulous. Maybe a couple of the, need that, the tape measures. I want the bulldog clip because it's the right colour. There's another one somewhere. We'll go with that one because that's adding a little bit of something different. I love the pink as well. I need to add some pink into this because I've got pink in the background. So I'm going to stick with the pink as well. And now we can build up our lovely little design. And I've got a few of our actual flowers. So I'm going to tuck in here, and I'm also going to build on the top too. So now I've got 3 of these. I tend to try and work within 3s. That is going on there. I'm going to go with my paper clip and paper clip that over like so. Put a little bit of glue on my finger and just stick that down so it's not moving. I've not stuck this one down yet because I might want to put a few things underneath there. I want a couple of these tape measures. That can go across there. So these, I love the fact that we've put things in that you might think, does it work? Does it? Because these are now where you can do, you might be doing saving, you might be on a health kick for the summer. So you could make yourself a little journal to, I know I need to do that. So that is that piece. I've got another little bit, oops, of my, but now cut this one in half. I don't need all of that. I'm not going to waste it. Pop that on this side because I'm going to add on, cover up that edge, but that is going in the opposite direction like so. And now I've got another little bit of pink if I needed it. And then we have our lovely flowers. And these just are fabulous. I'm going to add in a few of our florals, and the buttons are some of my favourite things as well. So with this, so my bulldog clip is holding that piece of hessian down for me. can show my little flowers sticking. Then I need to find some buttons to put in the middle of my flowers. Pop that up there, and I want a smaller one. That's a good one. A little one like this. And if of the flowers, I love the fact that the flowers, the actual reflections that we've given you, are actually cut from the paper. The reflections are the backing paper and images of the backing paper. So I've put glue on the back of my hand. I do know I'm okay with it, so I'm going to hook that over the top and stick that there. I'm going to go again with this one and have that over that edge, because that now is holding that hessian in place. And then I want my sparkle. When I can get the backing off. It's always the case, isn't it? Oh, there we go. That's easier. Lay it down rather than holding it in midair. So I'm going to have sparkle here, like so. I've got Brave, but I'm then going to use that other piece of my pink. Put my tape here, and then with my sentiment I'm actually going to hold that down like so, and then I've got Win. Now if I'd got a lot more time I would have inked all the edges of all of this as well. And then we'll have Win on this piece down here. So I'm making my own little sentiment. I might even go ahead if I can find, there's my little bits of tape. I love these pieces of tape. So I'm going to tape on my little sentiments like so. Just capture it on that piece. And they make the most amazing little projects. So you could actually take this to a workshop if you wanted to and have everything cut out in the different colourways. And actually I'm going to take that little one out of there and put the bigger one in there. Put the little one inside that one, and then I've got another bigger one over here, another button. So you could make them into kits and have everybody do a different page or do a big art journal page. So then that is then that finished, and then to really finish it off I've got my lovely little leaves just to add that pop of green that comes through. I would recommend definitely get yourself a good pair of tweezers because that really helps. And all of this has just been from pieces that are all just left over. I just took that in like so. So, if you remember, we started right back when here. We created the actual journal, and look at that, now it's dry. How fabulous is that, that we've got that scoring in there and we've made that spine. So we started out just with the strips, layered them up so there's 4 in one piece, separated them out and spaced them out onto the leather, folded in the edges so we make this lovely neat tidy edge, popped on the 2 inner pieces, put the spine in place, then we created an inside cover, and remember, don't forget those stickers. That download is just fabulous. With what was left over of the sticker, I've created my tab. Then we made a page, but it wasn't a full page because we cut a piece off of that is then this one. I then finished off and made another one, so you can carry on with that, even if you just make single pages or put pages in and glue them and leave a pocket for you to be able to put things into. So that is the basics of where to go to start with a journal. But then we went on to this. So all of this are just pieces that are all left over. So if you remember, the music and this piece in the back are left over from the pages that we originally put in that journal that we've just made. Then all the other elements have all been already cut, because I think that's the best way to work with it, is just cut 2 or 3 pages of all the different colourways, pop them in little plastic envelopes like this, so you've got the colour ready and raring to go with what you want to use, and then you can just go ahead and have so much fun. But you can see just how easy it is creating lovely little pages like this. Just a little bit. You got this, believe in your sparkle. And then we've got sparkle, brave and win. Just positive little things for you to look at on a daily basis. So that is how, the basis of how we actually created this fabulous journal. All you've got to do is add in your pages. So thank you very much for coming along and joining me. I hope I've given you lots of inspiration to actually get your little die set out and start using. I would love to see your makes. If you want to forward them on to us, it would be fabulous to see all your pictures. Maybe even you make a journal. So if you send it to highlightcrafts.com, and we'll have www.highlightcrafts.com. Sorry, you've got to send it to an email address. I apologise. info@highlightcrafts.com. So if you send that to info@highlightcrafts.com, we'll get that and we'll get all the image. Even if you send a few step-by-step pictures in of how you actually managed to create it, that would be fabulous. So sorry, my apologies, my mistake. It's at info@highlightcrafts.com. So it has to come to an email address. I'm not very good with the technological stuff, you know. It's this stuff that I need to do. I like doing this stuff. Computers aren't my friend at all. Scan and cut is about as much as I can cope with. So yeah, so if you make the journal, please show me what you make and share it with us. It would be lovely to see everything that you do, even if you're making the tiny little templates and the lovely little miniature cards. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.